Well, Vince, we have an exciting guest all the way from the UK with us next. And we've worked with him a lot. And I know that earlier in an email, he called me a diamond. So I was truly excited to hear from him. And that is Mr. George Meressa from the UK.
Hey, how's it going? Good to see you.
Hey, George. How you doing?
I'm good. I've had a nightmare with the backdrop, though. My computer won't let me add it, so we're gonna have to deal with my rubbish curtains for now. So,
more importantly, did you get champagne?
I did. You know what? It's in the office, but I'm on kind of house arrest right now because of my condition. I can't leave the house. Just not got much energy. So and I got all the goodies, right? So. Good. I wasn't sure if I could put it on Instagram, but then I wanted to, but I wasn't sure if the name was announced. I came back the next day. The guys in the office just took everything, so there was nothing left. Like it was goodies. So it's all gone. I'm sorry.
You got to put your name on things.
I think so. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for joining us here today, George. I appreciate it. I know it's later in the day over there in the UK. So appreciate you coming on. Now, for those viewers that may not know your background, just how long have you been doing PPC? How long has Clear Ads been around?
Sure. So I've personally been doing PPC since 2009. So it was about June 2009 I started.
Wow.
So then I went into I set the company up in 2011, so January 2011. So we just celebrated 10 years in the PPC space. Thank you. So we've been in it for a little while, and then we got into Amazon PPC specifically in 2015-16. So that's when we got into Amazon.
So you've seen everything, like from when it was just sponsored products, when there was no sponsored brands, or
just also campaigns. And,
I was working in PPC when sponsored brands became new.
Yeah.
So right before, about 6 months before headline search ads, which is what they were called back then, came out. So what is your, obviously you're an agency, but, for those viewers that may be watching that aren't maybe at the level of needing an agency right now, what are your tips on what things sellers could be doing right now that maybe they aren't doing for their PPC?
Oh, that's a good question. So what are sellers doing? Okay, so in terms of what I see quite often, especially when we're talking to potential clients and people just in the Amazon world, is just understanding, okay, what are your margins, and having that kind of clearly laid out for the majority of the products, and then incorporating that into your strategies when it comes to PPC in your account. So as you mentioned the importance of tacos, I so agree with you, and that's something we look at, and something
I love how you say it though, tacos.
Yeah, that's the right way to pronounce it, Vince.
You're right, it is.
But what I was gonna say, so one of the features
George, say that one more time again.
Yes, Brad, tacos.
I love it.
A little guest appearance, loving that.
Guest pop in.
Yes. So one of the things I love about the Adtomic tool is you have a really cool feature, and I don't see this in many other tools, PPC tools, and we look at a lot. Is just this high overview of, okay, every individual product, what is the overall PPC ACOS and what is the total ACOS, broken down on a product level.
Right.
And I think once you understand, okay, my profit margins are 20%, right? And we know the profit margins are 20%. And if your ACOS is 25% on PPC, but then your total ACOS is 5%, then we know there's movement available. And if you want to go for aggression and growth, we always advise you look at TACOS and not ACOS. Allow some leeway with the ACOS so that you can continue to see growth, and just measuring it all the time. Can I give one more tip? Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. So another thing I always advise sellers to do is look at conversion rates.
Right.
So important. So for example, if you got a particular product and the conversion rate is higher than every other product, but it's not getting much exposure, you have a gold mine sitting there, right? And if you put some PPC behind that, right, it's going to blow up, right? And what you have to bear in mind is, and when you look at other platforms, what you'll notice is other PPC platforms and paid ad platforms, they don't control the whole process, right? So with Google, as the moment they hit the website, it doesn't involve, that's it, it's a cutoff period. So they look at quality score. With Amazon, they look at sales. Amazon actually benefit from your sales, right? So that's a key ingredient to this whole process, which I think always gets neglected. And another thing we've noticed as well is you might have a fantastic conversion rate for a few weeks, and then all of a sudden it drops, right? And this is where you have to look deep to see, okay, is there other products that have a better offering? Have they brought out more colors? And have they managed to differentiate themselves more from you? Because once we answer those kind of questions, you can then dominate PPC and just absolutely smash it.
Absolutely. Those all great tips, George. I really appreciate you sharing that with our viewers today. And for those of you that maybe you're feeling like you are ready for an agency, definitely recommend George. He's one of our trusted partners here at Helium 10. Where can people find your information? How can they reach you on the socials, or maybe email if you just prefer?
Well, you can email me at george@clearads.co.uk. You could just go on clearads.co.uk, or you'll find me on the streets of South London if you're around. Just walking around to come and say hello. But yeah, so that's the best way.
Whereabouts in South London are you?
I'm south of so most people are going to know South Croydon, but I live in a little village just south of that.
South of Croydon.
Yeah, where the sun always shines. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming on today, George. And
thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and for sharing your perspective on PPC, and then also just using Adtomic, our new tool. I know you used ads before, so hopefully you're going to get a lot out of using Adtomic now as well going forward.
Absolutely. We're so pumped, and like we've been pushing for you as well. It's been like, when can we get an agency account? Come on, we need one, because we're working with a number of different accounts.
We're definitely working on it. Like I mentioned earlier in the show, there's lots more things coming. So that is definitely one thing that we will have. Fingers crossed in the near future, but definitely by in 2021.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Vince.
Thanks, George. Cheers.
Peace.
What a great interview,